Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rofh Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Philippine Air Force honors fallen airmen in a Sundalo helicopter crash. Naval Forces Eastern Mindanao seizes 43.5 million pesos smuggled cigarettes off Davao del Sur. PBBM orders release of 1.307 billion peso budget to support disaster relief. DPWH Secretary refers to new flood control bid rigging cases to PCC.
Hello to everyone, especially to our troops at Camp Emilio Ginaldo in Quezon City. Today is Friday, November 7, and this is AFP Community News, your source for the updates on the armed forces and other developments across the country. I am Rofh Suzon-Abay, here to bring you today's stories.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
For the brief overview of our news, the Philippine Air Force rendered full military honors to the airmen who perished in the Super Huey helicopter in Agusan del Sur during a disaster response mission after Typhoon Tino. The remains of 6 fallen personnel were flown to their respective hometowns, with 4 received at Villamor Air Base, Pasay City, and 2 brought home to Zamboanga and General Santos City. Philippine Air Force Commanding General Lieutenant General Arthur Cordura led the tribute, presenting posthumous Distinguished Aviation Cross medals in recognition of their bravery and dedication. The PAF expressed deep condolences to the bereaved families, vowing to honor the legacy of the fallen heroes who embodied service above self.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Relatedly, the Philippine Air Force is investigating 3 possible causes of the Super Huey helicopter crash that occurred in Loreto, Agusan del Sur. According to PAF spokesperson Colonel Maria Cristina Basco, investigators are looking into pilot error, adverse weather conditions, and mechanical failure as possible factors. She confirmed that all 6 personnel on board, including 2 pilots and 4 crew members from the Elite 505th Search and Rescue Group, died in the crash. She said the helicopter was on a rapid damage assessment and needs analysis mission when the tragic incident happened.
Armed Forces Radio.
And some information from AMI about AFP promotes 6 senior officers in rank donning ceremony.
Yes, Rofh, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, led by Deputy Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Romel Roldan, conferred new ranks on 6 newly promoted general and flag officers in a ceremony held at Camp Emilio Aguinaldo, Quezon City yesterday. Promoted were Major General Leo Edward Caranto, Major General Gregorio Hernandez Jr., Brigadier General Erickson Gob, Brigadier General Antero Narcisse, Commodore Glenn Dizon, and Commodore Marco Buena. The activity highlighted the AFP's commitment in honoring leadership, excellence, and professional merit within its ranks. It also reaffirmed the organization's vision of building a strong AFP for strong Philippines. This is Ami reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Ami.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Defense Secretary Gilbert Chodoro has urged the government to adopt drone technology for disaster assessment following the fatal crash of the Philippine Air Force Super Huey helicopter in Agusan del Sur. Secretary Chodoro, who also chairs the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, said drones can provide faster and safer aerial surveys in disaster-hit areas. He has directed the Office of Civil Defense to study how unmanned aerial systems can be integrated into response operations. Defense Secretary emphasized that while drones cannot replace manned missions, they could reduce risks and improve the country's disaster preparedness.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
For other military news, the Naval Forces Eastern Mindanao intercepted a Jungkook-type watercraft loaded with 43.5 million pesos worth of smuggled foreign brand cigarettes off Barangay Bato, Santa Cruz, Davao del Sur. Naval SEALs from NSWU-7 boarded ML Fatima Shakira after it ignored radio calls and discovered over 1,100 boxes of undocumented cigarettes from North Sulawesi, Indonesia. The 12-man Filipino crew and the contraband were turned over to the Bureau of Customs for investigation and disposition. The operation highlights the Navy's strong commitment in combating smuggling and enforcing maritime laws across eastern Mindanao waters.
Armed Forces Radio.
More updates from Gina. DND and Czech Republic strengthen defense cooperation and modernization efforts.
Yes, Rofh, the Department of National Defense, led by Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr., met with Czech Ambassador Karel Hedge at Camp Aguinaldo, Quezon City to advance defense modernization and international cooperation. Both sides discussed regional security developments and explored deeper collaboration in capability development, training, and defense industry partnerships, including potential joint advancements in drone technology. Secretary Teodoro also welcomed the Czech Republic's proposal for cooperation in cyber defense. The meeting emphasized the Philippines' ongoing defense modernization and its commitment in building strong alliances with like-minded nations. This is Gina reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Gina.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Army rescue teams continue to search for missing individuals following the devastation of Typhoon Tino in Cebu. The Army's humanitarian assistance and disaster response teams are working with local government units to restore access and deliver aid to affected communities. Army Chief Lieutenant General Antonio Navarrete assured the public of swift and coordinated rescue and relief operations across the Visayas. The Army, together with national agencies and private partners, remains committed in providing life-saving assistance to typhoon-stricken residents.
DWDD National News.
For our national news, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has ordered the release of 1.307 trillion pesos in program funds for the fourth quarter of the year. This aims to support disaster relief, recovery, and rehabilitation efforts for communities affected by recent calamities. Press Officer Claire Castro said President Marcos's directive aims to ensure that government resources are mobilized efficiently to help affected Filipinos rebuild their lives. She added that the President also instructed all government agencies to utilize the funds with integrity and effectiveness to stimulate economic growth and ensure that every peso contributes to the country's continued recovery and development.
Armed Forces Radio.
And now from NOLCOM, let's hear some information from Joanne. NOLCOM takes part in Belenismo 2025, reflecting commitment to faith and nation. Go, Joanne.
The commander of the Northern Luzon Command Armed Forces of the Philippines, Lieutenant General Aristotle D. Gonzalez, Philippine Air Force, warmly welcomed the guests and visitors as they graced the opening and prejudging activity of the 18th Belenismo sa Tarlac City 2025 on November 4, highlighting its symbolic Belen that embodies the values of faith, unity, and service to the nation. The audience was treated to a captivating performance by the Tarlac State University cultural dancers, which added a touch of cultural richness to the event. This year's AFP Belen features a windmill design representing the organization's journey of transformation, grounded in faith, driven by purpose, and sustained by the spirit of service. A work of art meticulously crafted by the talented soldiers of the Armored Division of the Philippine Army. Lieutenant General Gonzalez emphasized the significance of the military's involvement in cultural and community events, showcasing the commitment to both national defense and the well-being of the Filipino people. This is John Sagauk reporting for AFP Community News 1, AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Joanne from Nolco.
DWDD National News.
The government of Timor-Leste expressed solidarity with the Philippines following the devastation from Typhoon Tino. Prime Minister Sanana Guzmao sent a letter to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. saying that Timor-Leste was deeply saddened by the scale of this tragedy and the hardship facing so many families who have lost loved ones, homes, and livelihoods. Guzmao said that his country stands in solidarity with the Filipino people at this time of grief and recovery. He also emphasized the regional friendship and cooperation between the two countries.
DWDD National News.
Palas attributed the recent increase in involuntary hunger to the series of natural disasters that hit the country. Palas Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro was asked for comment on the social weather station's finding that the number of Filipino families who experience involuntary hunger increased over the past 3 months to 22%. Castro said that a series of calamities hit the Philippines, and this affects the continuous work of the government, especially the DSWD, to alleviate the hunger rate in the country. According to the palace official, the government is exhausting all measures to implement programs that will address hunger in the country.
Armed Forces Radio.
Let us hear more updates from Ken about 2nd CRG brings malasakit caravan services to Batangas communities.
The 2nd Civil Relation Group, Civil Relations Service, Armed Forces of the Philippines joined the Malasakit Caravan in Barangay Libiste, Rosario, Batangas yesterday. It benefited more than 1,500 residents through free medical, dental, and livelihood services. Organized by Tactical Operation Group 4, Philippine Air Force, the outreach activity aimed to promote public service, unity, and community partnership. Moreover, 2nd CRG Commander Lieutenant Colonel Ferdinand Foranda delivered a lecture on West Philippine Sea awareness, while former insurgent members shared insights to raise vigilance against communist recruitment. This is Ken reporting for AFP Community News 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you so much, Ken.
DWDD National News.
For other national news, the Department of Public Works and Highways referred to new bid rigging cases involving flood control projects against contractors and personnel of the agency before the Philippine Competition Commission. The DPWH said Secretary Vince Dizon filed the bid rigging and bid manipulation cases against Diskaya-led St. Timothy Construction Corporation and Silver Wolves Construction Corporation, as well as employees of DPWH's Davao Occidental and La Union 2nd District Engineering offices. The new cases were referred to the PCC for preliminary inquiry and possible violations under Section 14, Chapter 3 of the Philippine Competition Act. The competition law lists prohibited anti-competitive agreements, such as fixing price at an auction or in any form of bidding, including bidding, bid suppression, bid allocation, and other analogous practices of bid manipulation.
DWDD National News.
The Office of the Ombudsman received the interim report of the Independent Commission for Infrastructure on what the ICI described as potential irregularities in a 95 million pesos flood control project in Bocaue, Bulacan. ICI said the project was implemented by the Department of Public Works and Highways Bulacan 1st District Engineering Office through Top-Notch Catalyst Builders Incorporated. The ICI recommended that criminal charges be filed, alleging that certain individuals committed acts which may constitute violations under applicable laws. This included Henry Alcantara, the former district engineer of the DPWH Bulacan 1st District Engineering Office, former Bulacan Assistant District Engineer Bryce Hernandez, Jaime Hernandez, John Carlo Rivera, Alan Kevin Payawal, and others.
Armed Forces Radio.
From Puff Simol, let's hear from Apple about Philippine Air Force joins in fourth quarter NSED.
The Philippine Air Force joins the fourth quarter nationwide simultaneous earthquake drill following the NDRRMC guidelines. All PAF units and bases held the drill at the same time to improve disaster readiness. The exercise included evacuation drills and emergency response tests. It checked communication, coordination and decision-making, and resource use in earthquake situations. The drill helped review contingency plans and find areas to improve in base-level disaster management. This is Apple Borabo reporting for AFP Community News. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Apple, from Puff Simol.
DWDD National News.
Meanwhile, the Department of Migrant Workers has inked an agreement with the Anti-Money Laundering Council on the terms of reference that will protect overseas Filipino workers from money laundering. DMW Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak and AMLC Executive Director Matthew David led the signing. The terms designated DMW employees and officials as deputized AMLC financial investigators. Kakdak emphasized the roles of the DAFIs in combating illegal recruitment, human trafficking, and money laundering. They are also authorized to conduct financial investigations, implement asset freezing, and assist in the prosecution of offenders.
DWDD National News.
The palace ensured that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. would not hinder the release of his Statement of Assets, Liabilities and Network or SALN, as some groups have already requested for it before the Office of the Ombudsman. Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro said they should wait for the response of the Ombudsman and the President will not hinder that. This came after the Akbayan Party List and other groups requested the Office of the Ombudsman the release of Marcos's SALN. Castro earlier said the President is ready to release his SALN to the proper authorities provided that the procedures are followed.
Armed Forces Radio.
On the other line, let us hear more from MJ regarding PMA participates in nationwide earthquake drill to boost disaster readiness.
The Philippine Military Academy participated in the fourth quarter national simultaneous earthquake drill yesterday. The activity aimed to enhance personal preparedness and strengthen institutional disaster response protocols amid the country's recurring seismic threats. Through its Disaster Response Task Group, the PMA regularly conducts safety drills to ensure swift, organized, and effective emergency response. The initiative emphasizes PMA's commitment to resilience, risk reduction, and community assistance during disasters. This is MJ reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, MJ.
DWDD National News.
The Department of Health is expediting the procurement of vaccines to ensure adequate supply and achieve its 95% immunization target. The vaccines will cover polio, measles, mumps, rubella, pertussis, tetanus, influenza, and hepatitis B. Health Secretary Ted Herboso said the agency would implement several key measures to strengthen the country's vaccination program. These include the use of digital technology to monitor vaccine supply chains, accelerating procurement procedures, training health workers, and intensifying efforts to combat vaccine misinformation.
DWDD National News.
Malacanang is not bothered with a recent poll that showed a decline in the trust and performance ratings of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Attorney Claire Castro emphasized that the majority still place their trust in the President. She added that the President is working and the government is there for the public, and they are not affected by the figures. In Octa Research's latest Togon ng Masa survey, Marcos's trust rating saw a 7-point drop from 64% in July 2025 to 57%. From our report on the ground, let's hear the report of Beth Tanyete about LGU Bugsgao donates equipment to boost 17 IB operations.
The local government unit of Bagao, led by Mayor Leonardo Patong, turned over 10 solar floodlights, 6 handheld radio, and 3 flashlights to 17th Infantry Battalion at San Jose Municipal Hall, Cagayan. The donation aims to improve the operation readiness and the communication capability of CAA, stationed at Valley Cube Patrol Base. Mayor Patong thanked the soldiers and CAAs for their dedication and maintaining peace and security in Bagao. The 17th IB expressed appreciation for the LGU's continued support to community safety initiative. This is Beth Tanyete reporting for the AFP Community News, one AFP for the stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Beth Tanyete.
DWDD National News.
The Department of Trade and Industry seized almost 230,000 worth of Christmas lights in the Visorium that were found to be non-compliant with safety standards. DTI Fair Trade Enforcement Bureau said the items were confiscated for lacking the required Philippine Standard and Import Commodity Clearance or ICC markings. This indicates that the products have not undergone the mandatory safety testing and proper quality checks. The government agency also warned businesses to comply and follow product standards. Every year, the DTI releases a list of approved and certified Christmas light products.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
That concludes for today's broadcast, and thank you for tuning in, especially to our audience on AFP Radio, the DWDD's Facebook page. Be sure to join and catch us again next week for more stories and updates, same time and same station. Once again, this is Rofh Suzon-Abay for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rofh Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Ito ang DWDD 1134 kHz AM. Balita, impormasyon at musika. Ito ang DWDD AFP Radio. Boses ng Kawal Pilipino.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas.